Welcome back to CNB Bazaar Buzz. We'll now take you across to Jaipur for an art event. Now you may wonder why we have an art event here on an automobile program. Well, that's because the theme of this event is automobiles. The Cartist event is what I'm talking about. Cyrus Dhabhar visited it, and take a look for yourself to see just how auto passion translates into artwork.
Art can take several different forms. For some, it's as simple as the Mona Lisa hanging at the Louvre, the statue of David, or even the roof of the Sistine Chapel. And for some, it's street art, like we've seen on the streets of Brooklyn, or even the slums in Dharavi in the last few months and years. For some, art is not just a painting to be hung on a wall, it's something in motion. Cars can be art, or you can go to the next step and turn cars into art. A very small group of people in Jaipur called Cartist is actually advocating this in a different level altogether, and we're here to find out what they have to offer.
Cartist is a 4-day event in Jaipur that showcases and creates art with a twist. The automobile is the foremost subject in the art, but all or most of the art also has an Indian theme to it. In a sense then, Cartist is the best confluence of Indian modern art and the automobile as us Indians see it. And it's not just the big well-known names in the art world that come and produce this art. It is actually young art students. In fact, there are even instructors present that mold these young art students and give them a direction. And the work that some of these students create is simply outstanding. This particular one, for example, is the one art piece that we would take home if we had the chance. It's not just the canvas art that Cartist promotes, it's all forms of art, like these intricate stone sculptures, for example, or this installation art, what has turned these old and rather worthless Bajaj scooters into something beautiful and meaningful once again.
Now this actually is one of my favorite pieces here. It is a fiberglass sculpture and I don't really know what it is called, but I'm going to christen this Cyrus. Well, it's got cars on its mind and I've always got cars on my mind, so I think it goes pretty well, doesn't it?
And then we come to the coolest part of the Cartist show, turning actual classic cars into art, all here in one weekend. Now usually when we think of classic cars, we think of them as our pride and joy. And these belong to Himanshu Jangi, the founder of Cartist, and they are his pride and joy. And to encourage all forms of art, he has turned them into giant canvases by themselves, essentially turning them from mechanical pieces of art in some eyes to art forms in general. This lovely, rare and immaculately original Mercedes S-Class Fintail from the 60s, for example, is a car that no one to dare draw and paint on. But in this case, as a giant canvas, we bet it will end up being a one-of-a-kind automobile.
Now, as I did mention earlier, art does take different forms, and that's true even here. You have stone sculptures and canvas art, and then you have this. It's a wireframe sculpture. Now, this is a Jaguar E-Type, and I have driven one of these in the past, so I can tell you it is a 1:1 representation of the car. And even with this sort of wireframe design, the amount of detail in this is actually quite staggering. For example, these little louvers that are represented by these here are very accurate to the ones that are on the actual car, and the same with the hump on the bonnet. Even smaller details like a little fuel tank filler on the back, or the tailgate that is to open sideways like a cupboard is just very well represented. And I think any car enthusiast, classic or otherwise, or just a guy who likes cars or likes art would love to have something like this in his collection. Well, I'd love to have something like this and in my collection as well.
Cartist has certainly been an eye-opener in terms of what is possible when you bring cars and art together under one roof. Some of these paintings, sculptures and art installations have left me truly amazed. At a basic level can impress someone who really has no artistic inclinations in the traditional sense. We do wish that someday these come up for auction or for sale, as we would proudly have one or more up on our walls.
Cars and art. With that, it's a wrap here on CNB Bazaar Buzz. I hope you enjoyed the show. We'll always bring you a whole lot more on it, and please keep your queries coming. Please do wear your seat belts. Do wear your helmets if you're on a two-wheeler, and definitely tune into CNB this week because we have our annual World Car Awards as well as New York Auto Show special. That's something to look forward to. See you next week.